Hello and welcome back to Radio Free Urbanism, a podcast about urbanism
and
stuff. Oh my God, we're here, guys. We're back. It's been a while.
We're all back here.
I don't know when the last time we were actually all three of us on the show. At least a month and a half. Who knows? Anyway, my name is Nick Laporte. We got a great show ahead of us. I'm looking forward to actually chatting about some stuff. It's been so long, but we got on the show Ethan Myers.
It's great to be back with the whole team here, everybody. It's super exciting. I can't wait I've been looking forward to this show all week. So,
all right, and we got Sully Israel.
Hello to all the fans. What are our fans called? Are they called Laportists?
I don't know about that. That sounds wrong to me. I don't know. Israelites?
I don't know.
We're going to get canceled real fast. This is trying times.
That one might have
now,
been taken a
sadly.
few thousand years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, but might as well get into it. We're not going to waste any time here. The first thing we've got on the show here is coming from Vancouver, and this just happened just yesterday. Vancouver City Council has approved unanimously reducing speed limits on all local streets to 30 kilometers per hour to improve safety for pedestrians and cyclists. So local streets, typically residential with no center lines, will be affected. So this is something that's been coming down the pipe for a while. There was a city councilor, Pete Fry, who put in a motion, I think a bit more than a year ago, to do this. But then it was the whole thing. Yeah, we got to study stuff. We got to figure it out if that's actually a good idea type of thing. But this is it came back around. Lucy Maloney put this forward and it got approved, which is really good. I wasn't expecting this to happen for a few reasons. So let's talk about this for a moment. Why 30 kilometers per hour on local streets? So key benefits include up to 80% reduction in pedestrian fatalities, fewer collisions because of the shorter distance you have to stop, obviously, less noise because of the car's wheels, and better air quality, allegedly. Don't know if that's actually going to happen. Anyway, so the change aligns with the city's Vision Zero action plan and builds on existing 30 kilometer per hour zones near schools, playgrounds, and on bike greenways. So over the next 3 years, the new limits will be rolled out in 25 neighborhoods with signage and complementary traffic calming where needed. So first thing I want to say about this, great idea. This is part of a worldwide campaign. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. 20 is plenty. Have you heard of that? So that's part of the Streets for Life global movement led by the United Nations. Yep. That's basically saying 20 miles per hour is fast enough, at least, for residential streets.
At least for Americans, because you're going in kilometers. So
yeah.
I remain unimpressed. How much is 30 kilometers per hour?
18 miles an hour.
Okay, now I'm impressed. Okay. I'm sitting here I don't know how fast that is.
It's close enough, right? Yeah.
It's less than 20.
This is the thing about this, though. We have... I won't say a lot of 30 kilometer per hour streets in Vancouver. We have a few, like I said, the bike greenways. A lot of the ones that I use to get to work every day or to ride around the city are 30 kilometers per hour, at least signed that way. The problem is there isn't the complementary traffic calming that's needed to actually slow down the cars. And that's the thing. You could put up signs all day long, but that's not going to change anything. For example, on the Broadway corridor right now, they're doing construction for the SkyTrain extension, and you can see 30 kilometer per hour signs up on the street. Guys, this is a 6-lane wide thoroughfare. You think anybody's going close to 30 kilometers per hour?
No, absolutely not.
People are going 60, 70, 80.
Traffic.
We talk about this all the time, is that, the street design has to mimic the actual, comfortability of the driver. If someone sees 6 lanes in front of them, and they see them all widely stretched apart and no cones in between, nothing to even hint at possibly slowing down or being an obstruction in the way of them, they're going to go the speed that they feel comfortable at. And a lot of people are going to put the blame on the drivers, and there is something to be said about that. But I mean, when we think about it, really, it does come down a lot more to that street design as well. I take a lot of neighborhood greenways as well in Portland, much like you do in Vancouver, Nick, and it's the ones that really use that traffic calming well and effectively, that can keep, traffic to being local traffic only, that have effective ways of actually making safe corridors for cycling, rather than being spaces that are just essentially paint slapped down to say it's a greenway when it's really not.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And some of the things they try to implement are speed bumps, speed humps, narrowing of streets, which you can sometimes see here in Vancouver. That's used sometimes, but
how
daylighting
about filters?
Well, that's the biggest one I wanted to get to, right? Modal filters is the big one. And what I would like to see is more hard modal filters. Hard modal filters. Throughout Vancouver and the greenways, you'll see a lot of like soft modal filters where you can usually come in or out there, but only turn, and you can't go straight through on some of them. There's very, very rarely a hard modal filter where it's basically like, if you're in a car, you have to turn around and get out so that there's literally no through traffic going through there. If you're on that street, it's because you need to be there and you need to deliver there. You're parking there, you live there, something like that. And that's something that I noticed a lot. It's something I paid attention to when I was in the Netherlands, because I really like the way they do their feet strats and they do their bike paths, and they have so many hard modal filters. No cars are going through there. And that's the biggest thing.
That may disappoint you on that front, because I also like this. But I was looking into doing it in LA. At least down here, we have, what do you think it comes down to? It's the fire department guys.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
So they want that there's a minimum radius for a cul-de-sac. Have you guys ever noticed that the ends of cul-de-sacs are like massive? You can put tennis courts in them. I mean, and there's a reason that's the standard, because a fire truck has to be able to turn around in the cul-de-sac, which is why it's so much wider than the street itself. So I found that in LA, the code is that the minimum radius is 40 feet. So that's 80 feet wide, right? So
wanted to just share a really good modal filter here.
Yeah, that's a nice. So that seems to be the sticking point for the ones where you can't turn. So this is one of the ones you can't turn out of that you're showing on screen, or you can't?
Yes, it is one of the ones that you can't turn out of. It's essentially a giant planter made of concrete. Really great modal filter here on kind of a side greenway, not like a main greenway because it does parallel to bike lanes, but it's a really great little connecting route here on the west side of Portland. And then I also want to show a greenway that's a modal filter that's kind of not ideal. Let me see if I can find it here in my footage.
So yeah, it's the fire department.
Here we go, right here.
Oh yeah.
And if you can see in the footage too, there's actually a couple of these plexi posts
so we got
that have been knocked down. Yeah,
and really small, tiny little bumps that they're attached to.
And those are 3 blocks away from each other too. So they're not like this. This infrastructure can change quite fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's really all about that consistency of your modal filters within your city.
It's something I pay too much attention to, and I try to let it go, because you can get upset about this stuff when you try to, if you let it invade your brain too much, it lives there rent free, and you just get too worked up about it. And I have that problem. But this is one here in Vancouver at Oak and 7th along one of the bikeways, and this is actually a hard filter where there's like a extended bike lane filter.
What's the turn radius of the street back there?
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
On both sides, and it's the same thing on either side. So that's a good one, and that's actually one of my favorite bike routes to go down, because usually there's not too much traffic, but actually farther down the street, it gets pretty hairy. I was actually riding down there today, and I took some footage because I was just curious to see what was going on and why. So it's right by the Arbutus Greenway, which is one of the premier cycling routes in Vancouver. I know that Austin in the chat here was on it not too long ago, but we have a modal filter, which is a soft one on the one end where you can turn out of, turn right, and then way down another block, there's another one, but just in the middle of the street, like in the median. And I was standing on this corner here and just watching cars turn on to this bike route and then turn out this way. Constant flow. Like I'm talking every minute, at least like 10 cars coming through every minute, just constantly. So I was wondering, why is this happening? I don't normally come here. I'm not there at that time of the day. Hey, look, is that me? No.
That'd be wild.
I mean, there's no modal filters on this example here. There's nothing. It's a giant intersection.
There's one on a block, on either block away. There's another one, and that's the thing. Those are great, but when you have traffic flying through, this is a bike route, by the way. Traffic flying through all the time. It's not an inviting place for people to come try this out, and I don't think it meets AAA. And I've had disagreements with engineers about this. I don't know. Like, I'm a 35-year-old man. I would consider myself to be not in like that top 1% of like fearless people, but like the next
You're
level.
enthused.
Confident and enthused.
Yeah.
I'm on the edge a lot of the time. Like I don't think the people who are interested but concerned are going to be riding here.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you really want those interested but concerned people to actually ride in greenways, you have to go all in on making sure that the traffic calming is there, along multiple types of traffic calming. Because if you see in that example that you had there wasn't even tree cover there. There wasn't, that sort of constraining feeling that that foliage can do for an intersection.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have a modal filter there. There wasn't even so much as even flexi posts or paint on the ground.
There's a little bit of daylighting, which is nice, but yeah, that's all there is, really.
Yeah.
But the point is, a lot can be done, and there's one more thing I'd like to go on about this, and this is something a member of Vision Zero Vancouver had sent to their MLA about this matter. So this is a portion of what they said. So tomorrow, City Council in Vancouver is going to vote to spend $14 million plus on signs. Yes. That's how much it's going to cost to sign all these streets.
Signs. Wow.
Why?
For signs.
Because it's the only way to lower the speed limit on residential streets. Why? Because signs are required to have a speed limit lower than 50 kilometers per hour. Why?
Oh.
Because the province repeatedly rejects requests from municipalities to allow them to lower speed limits to 30 kilometers per hour. Why? Because, right? The province has given no good reason for letting municipalities set speed limits. Now, I happen to agree that the province should not let municipalities set speed limits. The province should set them at 30 kilometers per hour or lower anywhere people in cars are in the same space as people outside of cars. A driver going 50 kilometers per hour is going to kill the pedestrian 9 times out of 10. A decision to have a speed limit above 30K has grave, morbid consequences that need to be justified. It can't just be because. Thought that was brilliant. So yeah, that's, I think, a great piece. Why do we have to spend that much money to just say our local streets are now 30 kilometers per hour? I think it's ridiculous. I think, obviously we're gonna have to spend some money on this, on education, to get people understanding that this is the way it is. But I think the most of that budget should be going to actually changing the concrete conditions on the ground. Like we mentioned, the modal filter and the speed bumps.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we also talk about education as well, too, is that it's kind of ineffective when it comes to actually, getting people to slow down. I mean, every time we scream about it, the National Highway Transportation Safety Agency out here, the NHTSA, constantly does these safety campaigns that cost millions of dollars, and yet we see zero effect of it actually working to improve road safety here, at least in the U.S. It's having those actual concrete examples. It's that show don't tell philosophy that you hear about. It's honestly something that translates from like movie and TV. You can tell people all about your story and script and everything like that, but what you really want to do is you want to show them that the infrastructure actually works, that a modal filter is going to work to make your neighborhood safer. It's going to prevent rat running from going through your neighborhood. It's going to make it safer to walk and cycle in your own neighborhood and enjoy your own streets too.
Yeah, the examples work.
Most Vision Zero plans have the 4 E's, which is the education, enforcement, engineering, and whatever the other last.
There's a fourth one?
There's a fourth one?
There's a 4th E. Education, enforcement, engineering, and something.
Environment.
So unimportant, I don't remember. But the point is, I think the big thing that got lost in translation, because Vision Zero was invented in Sweden and Europe, was engineering is like the headline. And usually I've actually helped write a Vision Zero plan. They're given each a chapter, or they're given each a paragraph, or whatever it is. They're kind of treated with equal care. And then in a political level, what I've seen happen in my hometown is that then the politicians will latch on particularly to the enforcement, because I think that that's how many other things have been or are solved in city life, and so like littering or something. They're like, oh, there's people littering in this park. We'll post someone there and people will get fined and they'll stop doing it. So they have like a mindset that the same will go. So I've been at city council meetings where they're like, we need more police. And then the police chief comes up and she's like, look, I have 22 officers for a city of 100,000 people. So I can't have an officer on every corner. Like, that's not how it works. Side issue, by the way, almost all of our police officers commute in from over an hour away because they can't afford to live there. So I'm sure they're in a great mood when they come to work because of that in the first place. But anyway, so then the city council gets all confused and they're like, and then they ask questions like, why can't we lower the speed limit? And in California, this may have just been changed, Ethan might know, but we have the 85th percentile law, which is that if you actually go out to change the speed limit and you do a speed survey, if you measure this, let's say it's 30 and you want to change it to 20, but you measure that most people, the 85th percentile of people are going 40, you'll actually be forced to raise the speed limit to 40. And so then they'd rather just do nothing. But you don't have to ask the state and deal with the 85th percentile law to build a raised crosswalk, right? That's not something you have to ask the state about. I mean, you can apply for a grant for money, but then there's this, it just lowers the speed limit naturally. And I remember in Strong Towns, they had a great article like a couple years back. There was a neighborhood somewhere in the Midwest with like a 14-foot wide travel lane through the subdivision of the suburb, or maybe it was wide, 15 feet, whatever it was. And so people were ripping through like 70 miles per hour, and they tried putting up those signs. If you think 14 million is a lot for stagnant signs, those signs that flash and tell you what your speed is, those are like 3 times more expensive. But people think they're a solve-all, right? So they put up a sign, your speed is 70 and whatever. It didn't work. They painted a white line, right? They narrowed the lane to 11 feet, which didn't even leave enough room for parking in that extra space. It was just a white line. And that lowered speeds, average speeds from 70 to 35.
So what you're saying is paint is infrastructure.
Paint can be. So yeah, if paint can do it. But I do want to show, because you showed your modal filters, it's only appropriate to show the ones I
Please.
Please.
We'll have a sandwich, a delicious modal filter set.
We had a really good one. We had a really bad one. We had a really good one, really bad one.
Okay.
Sully, we need a really good one and a really bad one.
So what do you guys
Oh.
think about this? It's
I like that. That looks good to me.
It looks like a very nice modal filter.
Yeah.
Of course, it's America, so we have garish signage to accompany it.
Oh, if
We
your
love that.
modal filter isn't covered in entirely reflective signage, I don't know what you're doing.
So what we
Right.
see here, folks, for those listening, is basically a road that was previously would have just been a residential street in California, and they've
Santa Barbara,
bas-
California.
and they've narrowed the street to just basically be a bike lane that lasts. How many feet is that? I don't know, 20 feet, 30 feet.
Yeah.
And then they filled in the space on the sides with foliage and a curb. Oh, and
And
there's
this was
bollards.
only possible because, so for people who are not watching, imagine a grid and then offset the grid by 20 feet along one street. For whatever reason, when these streets were planned out, they didn't quite touch. That's where the motor filter is. If these streets met in a cross, this would not be possible because of the whole fire department situation where you would need to construct a cul-de-sac and you'd need to take over people's front yards to have
Well,
a 40-foot.
Let me show
radius.
you something interesting here in
Okay.
Vancouver. And these are some of the oldest modal filters in the city. And they have a rather peculiar
Whoa.
implementation that I think is worth looking at. If I can find one, that's going to be, oh, here's one. I got one. So what they've done is they have the grid pattern downtown. And like you said, instead of worrying about that, this isn't one. Okay. I'll find one. I swear.
Okay, I'll show you another one in the meantime. I have 2
Okay.
modal filters.
In the
for,
meantime, I
taste
do
buds.
want to share a really good.
I like
Oh,
this.
you have also something
modal filter
Ethan?
off.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to show just the fact that modal filters are incredibly simple to build and very cheap to do. I'm going to show one that I absolutely love in the city of Portland. It's right on the Flanders Greenway, essentially like the northwest side of downtown. And it's just this. It's just 3 little concrete planters, a little bit of
Nice.
reflective on there, a little garish sign to go with it. This is something that a city could implement for probably under $100,000, and it does a really good job of just converting this street and having a really good modal filter. I mean, there's a bunch of them down this way further that just end up being really great modal filters as well too. Down here on Flanders, it also crosses over with a bike lane. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good cheap little planter modal filters throughout the entire city.
It's crazy that less than 100,000 seems like it should be a lot cheaper to implement something so simple. But
city budgets.
I know
it's just city budgets, but by city budget standards, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And see,
But do
you
you
can see
guys
before
think-
the modal filter was there, and now it's here.
Oh, there you go.
Is stuff like this, like as cool and cheap as it is, and I've had this argument with others before, like, is this enough to get the kids and the moms and the people who are like not European or whatever biking?
No, not
Right.
just the modal filters. I think there's a lot
Right.
of things that need to happen and go right.
So then is it so then here's the question. Is it actually sort of non-intuitively against progress because it will anger just enough people for them to demand it goes away and not get enough people to bike who like it?
Yeah, there is that balance that you need to strike, right? And I don't want to get too deep into politics, but I think this is what has happened in the United States. I'm not there. You guys are, but maybe you can speak to this. But what happened with Donald Trump and the reason why he came into office? For some people,
it's all because of modal filters.
This is true.
Exactly.
That was the main issue on the table.
I honestly think that modal filters are honestly, paired up with making an actual greenway. If you work with putting in street trees, using the paint where necessary, and doing some other things like extra signage, you can really turn a street into a great greenway for a lot cheaper than you could with a hardened protected bike lane, and still draw in those younger riders. I mean, Portland has built up its ridership not only with adult riders, but we also have things here like Bike Bus that are super important for getting kids to ride bikes through the city. I've even seen, even on this greenway that I've been showing today, it's not one of the better ones in the city. Honestly, it has some problems, but I've seen kids skating on it, as like an actual like safe place to go out and skate, because they know that there isn't going to be fast traffic rat running on the street there.
Well, totally. That sounds lovely.
It is possible, right? And that's what you can do. You can make a greenway out of an old street and make it good and make it AAA. I just don't think most cities are doing a stellar job of that. This is the West End in downtown Vancouver. These are older modal filters, but here we go. This is across like just an intersection in a grid, and they just basically put in one modal filter diagonally across the intersection, and that's how some of them are implemented in that. I don't know if maybe the intersections in Santa Barbara would be too small for this, but this is something that works.
So do those modal filters keep going down the street? Are they continuous? Is there like one like a block or two down the street from that?
They're pretty common. Driving in the West End is a nightmare, so they work pretty well.
There are a lot of these in Oakland. I saw in September when I visited there. But once again, they're avoiding the cul-de-sac issue. And I'm going to show you guys another one. I want to hear your thoughts on this new modal filter.
I love modal filters.
I will say the thing about modal filters is that if you want to actually create safe cycling routes, you have to work with them in creating them in routes in the city.
Yeah.
You can't just have them randomly dispersed between different intersections. You have to actually make them cohesive within a bike cycling network.
So yes, this, Ethan, you will be quite happy with, because look at this new
Oh wow, look at those signs.
Ooh. So this is the Santa Barbara font, which is
That's
used
a Santa Barbara
I don't know
font.
how I feel about that.
It's used for
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah, it's supposed to look. So our original street signs were hand carved, and so they were all like curvy lines.
Okay,
they were carved in wood.
Okay,
and then painted white.
Sense.
And so now
you can download it on 1001fonts.com for free.
Santa Barbara, really? Are you serious? That's
Santa Barbara Streets font. Yeah.
Yep.
It's the 1001st font.
So they put these they got brand new street signs for the greenway with the little bike symbol, because these happen every 2 blocks. Now, I think that's really cool. And also in between, of course, they have these green bike symbols on the ground. The one thing I don't think is cool, and I hate to be the naysayer here, but if you look at this map here, the greenway and the modal filters are along this street called Aliso Street, which you can see does not go under the freeway, nor does it connect to, it ends at this big, gigantic hill. Now, one street to the west is Milpas Street. Milpas, and I'll show you on Street View, is probably it's the most poorly designed street in the city. It's really wide. It's a leftover from the 1920s when they widened it. And you can see it's lined with commercial uses. And because it's an important street, it actually does go beneath the 101 freeway to the beach here. And it also, there's all the schools are on the other side of it, on the west side of it, and it connects to downtown. And so what I saw happen here is because they did modal filters 1 block to the east, and they also did modal filters on Nopal Street 1 block to the west. Basically, the argument was we can't get rid of vehicle lanes on Milpas, and so we're going to put greenways sort of as compensation for the cyclists on either side. But what I think that misses in terms of bike planning is that cyclists also want to go to restaurants and markets.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all on Milpas. And cyclists are just normal people, right? They're seen as this other thing, but they're also just people who want to go to the market, who want to go to the beach. And so if you want to go to those things, you're forced to go onto Milpas anyway. You're forced to go onto Milpas to go under the freeway and go through this terribly designed roundabout, in my opinion, which is like, look how frightening this would be as a cyclist.
Oh God,
Ooh,
Yeah, complete
Wide
that's almost
lanes.
as bad as
huge.
it's almost as
Yeah.
bad as one of the ones I used to ride
It's
through.
absolutely gigantic. It's one of the oldest roundabouts, probably on the west. It's really old. It's the oldest one in Santa Barbara. So I don't know if they didn't know exactly what they were doing. And they have really wide sidewalks, so I guess, and of course public art because that makes everything better. They have lampposts that are shaped like corn,
I I
which
love
is
public art, and I love it when it just
yeah.
doesn't make sense and it's kind of silly. It's great.
So this does make sense because Milpas means cornfield because there used to be corn growing here. So, but anyway, the point is like it's as great as the modal filters are, and as nice as the idea is, and as nice as the greenway is. If you're going from your house to your friend's house and you happen to live along the Liso Street, if you want to go to one of the biggest markets in town, Sprouts Market, you're going to have to go on Milpas for a block. So like, there's something here to me that is just not quite understanding cycling as transport and safety. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think the big thing with a lot of modal filters is that they just aren't paired up with good bike lanes. Heavy arterials really should, have some sort of protected, bike lane on them. But having those neighborhood greenways can really help as a way to actually boost that ridership for cycling and create local neighborhoods that are really good cycling routes that connect to, our more commercial areas. This also does kind of tie in as well too with our lack of mixed use development as well. Putting all of the, commercial spaces directly on our wide arterials doesn't exactly help with accessibility for cycling. But yeah, I mean, like, it's really kind of building that cohesive network with multiple different types of infrastructure.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, as long as we're already on Google Maps, did I tell you guys the cool news?
I do want to share this
Oh,
roundabout that I
yes.
used to commute through
Go ahead, go
first,
ahead.
Sully.
Yeah,
As
please.
much as I want to hear your cool news, I do want to show you just
It's
how bad this was.
let's see
So
it.
this is the approach to it. This was back when I was living in Florida. The approach to it was like this, and it's not really a true roundabout because it's got some weird F dot BS tied with it. So there's kind of a roundabout on this side over here, as you can see, but then this side kind of goes through directly. But if you want to go northbound, there's still like a direct lane that goes north through here.
Oh,
It's here, let me show you it on like
yeah.
aerial view.
Whoa.
Wow,
What
that
the?
is huge. It looks like a track, like you'd run track on that.
It kind of is, and I do not recommend cycling through it as someone who's cycled
And it's
through it
called the
multiple
Peanut.
times. It is, but it's not really like a traditional like peanut,
It's a giant
No.
oval roundabout.
Let's see
With
some
a
of the.
gas through it.
My
Wait,
God,
what's
It
the
is a
point of
modified.
it has a 3.9 on Google. It's got that's a decent rate. I'd go to that restaurant and be like, yeah, like I'll eat there. I'm sure
Wait,
it's fine.
what's the point of the cut-through lane through the roundabout? Like, I don't, because you can still
I
go around it as well.
Because if there wasn't this cut through
It's
lane, you could go without having to have a light here.
it has
Well,
lights on it. It's a roundabout with lights all over it.
let me show you
What
the light
the?
that's here though. This is a hawk crossing here.
Oh,
Oh.
with in a slip lane essentially.
Yep.
Oh my.
Lovely.
It's essentially the most highwayified roundabout you could ever imagine. It's
Yeah.
true F dot glory right there. They make some really really awful interchanges, like
And I love having to
particularly
paint.
awful.
Hawk 2 about worse, somebody says in the chat.
That's all I wanted to share there.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God,
it's,
that's wild.
Okay, that is awful.
oh my god.
I'm repulsed. Thank you. Now I'm not going to eat peanuts for a year.
Oh, Jimmy Carter's rolling in his grave now. What do you got to share, Sully? You said you got something else
I
on
just
maps.
got a little brief piece of exciting news, which is that a couple months ago, the Google Street View car drove past me.
It got you?
Got
did.
you.
I will show you where it got me. Where am I? Oh, here it is. It got me on this random. It was in a person's driveway, and I was like, why? Maybe they got confused. But look, they got Street View of a driveway, which I guess they sometimes do. That's me in this Prius, okay? I promise that I am in this Prius.
Were you?
Of course, you have to be in a car. It's California.
I know, yeah. I cycle up this hill sometimes, but look how
I got a
straight it is.
question though. Why are all the crossings in California painted yellow? Is that like something to do with like the road code or something like that?
Oh, you mean the crosswalks?
Yeah, crosswalks. Yeah.
So yeah, they're painted. That's a great question. Okay, wow. I don't know the exact answer, but I have noticed that they're usually painted yellow around schools, so maybe it has to do with that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, look, and there's a cool bird in the shot too.
Look at that.
Well,
Beautiful.
that's the news. That's the whole news. I'm on Google Maps.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
You're
Speaking of
famous.
birds.
You're literally famous.
Yes.
I saw some owls yesterday. I don't think I've ever seen owls. They're just out. There was a
Wow.
baby owl and a mama owl. They were just hanging around the neighborhood. It's like the talk of the town.
Very
Walked to my
cool.
friend's neighborhood, and they're like, yeah, this is what everybody does in the evening. They walk around and just look at the owls. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Yeah. So anyway,
This is
that's,
how you know you're getting old, when you're getting
Totally.
excited about the neighborhood owls
You're
that
walking with
everybody's
your
talking about
friend.
on next door.
yeah, and their baby and looking at the owl. There's like, old guy with the camera with the giant lens on it, like getting photos of it.
He's telling you all about the owl while you're trying to look at it. Like,
Guys, you'll find out soon enough. When you get into your 30s, you start picking up hobbies, you start baking bread and start carving wood and stuff like that. I don't know why. It just happens.
My.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
boy.
rather have that be what people are doing for a hobby.
yeah.
Instead of rolling coal, is that what you're saying?
No, on Nextdoor. I'd rather have them be talking about owls than like horrible cyclists.
Are we going there? Are we going to next door?
There's a single homeless person in Santa Barbara. The neighborhood's gone downhill.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
when I was at the Strong Towns convention, I met a guy who worked for Nextdoor.com for 6 years. He was one of their developers, and I asked him, "Why'd you leave?" And he said, "I left because the company was great to work for, but it was on my conscience that the people I was helping were such terrible." He was like, it was so bad. He was like, every time I would go look at the posts on Nextdoor, he was like, what am I doing? How can I work for this company that like allows this horrible stuff? Anyway, I had a great talk with him. We talked about the craziest posts we'd ever seen, and I told him when I trolled. I don't know if I've told you the story of when I trolled Nextdoor, but maybe that's for another time.
yes. Well, tell us about how you got harassed by local Republicans. We need to hear this.
We need to.
Oh, yes, absolutely. This happened a couple weeks ago. We wanted to talk about it on the last podcast, but Ethan and
This is
I,
true.
we just talked about trains and transit so much. So yes, pivoting to this. What happened is there's a local, I wouldn't even call it a rag because it's only digital. It's called the Santa Barbara Current, and I don't know
slop.
how I got subscribed to it, but it comes into my inbox sometimes. I've hit unsubscribe a bunch of times. It is the local Republican newsletter. And I don't know how many people could possibly be reading it, but one of their big things, they're more interested in urban planning actually than you'd think. From what I've seen, like a third of what they talk about is related to planning, particularly housing and streets. Of course, they have the opposite views as we do, and I'm sure most of our audience members have. If I can go out on a limb and guess that. So they're really obsessed with State Street. I've talked about State Street. It's closed to cars in 2020 for 7 blocks. It's become an absolute amazing, beating, lively heart of the city. It's full of tables and chairs of restaurants and people cycling and hanging out. They want the cars back desperately. Every so often. Yes, they need the cars. They want the cars. They're on the mayor's side. Their arguments basically boil down to the vacancy rate, businesses, the economy. You can't have vibrant downtown without cars. And then the other argument that they usually fall back on is that it's unfair to people who can't drive, which doesn't make sense because every cross street is open. So, like, you only have to walk half a block at most. And also, when it was open to cars, it was all red curbs because it was just 2 lanes that you had to keep moving, and so you couldn't even drop people off on it. Anyway, so I got an email from the woman, one of the main contributors, named Bonnie Donovan. And I'm going to share with you guys this hilarious email she sent to me.
Oh boy.
Yes. No, we're
Oh,
like
boy.
actually getting into this here, okay? So, here's the first email I got. So, she saw an article I published 3 weeks ago about a survey we did, and by we I mean Strong Towns, survey we did of the business owners on State Street, and we found that 75% of the business owners we spoke to do not want cars back because they say their businesses are doing great as a result of the increased foot traffic and parklets. 5% said they weren't sure, and only 20% said they wanted cars back. So, she said, out of the blue, she wrote to me, "I want a copy of your survey." I was at work. Okay, she sent me this email at 10:58 a.m., as you can see. So I was not checking my personal email at work. I have a pretty busy job. So then at 3 p.m., she says, checking back in. Then at 9:30 p.m., she says, still, good evening, still trying to get a response for you. So she's like, because at first I was like, I'm not going to respond. I don't need to engage with this. And I was like, holy cow, okay. So at 9 p.m., I was like, if she's going to write to me every few hours, I have to respond. So I sent her the survey. And I just wrote a nice little response. Like, I was not abrasive. I was like, hey, this is how we did it, and da-da-da. And then after I sent her the survey, she found an error in it, okay? So one of the stores we had gone to was a sunglass store, and the guy told us that his business was up like 200% since there were no cars. And she writes to me the next day. It says, first of all, the first error, it says May 25th and 26th, but the picture of the sunglass store owner doesn't add up. It's been closed, and he has been living in Las Vegas. Was your survey in 24 or 25? Like, how does she know that the owner of this random sunglass store moved to Las Vegas? Like, is she the nosiest person in Santa Barbara? Like, you guys have to understand, there's like 500 stores on State Street.
Yeah.
Like, how does she know this? So, yeah, I responded. I was like, no, it was last May 25th. Yeah, it was 2024. Whatever. But, so anyway, then I was like, okay, at least she has the data. She has the survey. So then her article, oh, okay, it's in a different window. So let me share the whole screen. Why not? We're going in so deep on this. So then her article is emailed to me, of course, here. So here she says, the Downtown Organization did a survey, which is some business, it's a property owner group, and Strongtowns claims they also did one. But I sent it to her. It's not claims. She had it. And then she said, and then she didn't include the results of my survey to her at all. And then she just writes, the names and addresses of their respondents were not available due to privacy concerns. Because I sent her the anonymized version because I thought it was too creepy. And then she said, I will have more from them in next week's column. It's been 3 weeks and she never included anything else. Well, after this, I wrote to her as passive-aggressively as possible. I said, thank you so much for including Strongtowns in your newsletter. It's always cool to see us mentioned in the local press. I would love to get together with you sometime to discuss further. And guess what? She is going to get together with me next Sunday. So I've invited her to have lunch on State Street, of course, and I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but I will let you guys know.
It's like a social experiment. This is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, so my game plan is
you're going in like to do like a psychological study of this person.
Yes.
Yeah, ask her to do an interview so you can record it all.
Oh, I would love. Let's invite her on the podcast, guys.
Yeah, why not?
I want to convince her of one urbanist thing. And the thing I think, the inroad into her brain, is going to be child safety. Like, I'm going to tell her that the number 2 cause of death in California for children is being hit by a car. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, how, like, not even talk about, obviously never bring up climate change, right? Like, stuff like that would be useless. But, like, maybe somewhere in there is, like, a pro-family, pro-children angle. I don't know what you guys think about that.
It's probably one of the best ones. Like, yeah. It gets to people.
You'd be surprised how much people hate kids, though.
Also, people, they prioritize their convenience over their lives anyway. So
what I would also like to do here, because we do have some time, is I, of course, looked at stuff she's written in the past. I shared some of it with Nick before the show. So I want to show you guys one of her best articles, that she's written in 2025, January 2025. The article is called "The Housing Crisis is Over." Title of the article.
That's it.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's been declared.
Says so.
Thank God, a rich person from Santa Barbara said it's over.
Here's her argument.
Oh my God.
I took a trip to Arizona. When we passed Kingman, Arizona, another place I've been going to since the 60s, there was more housing starting at $200,000.
Yeah, I really want to live in Kingman, Arizona.
She said, by the way, it's like grammar error, but Pear Blossom Highway I stopped using about 20 years ago due to all the added signal lights. But GPS guided me that way, so I took it. Again, so many tracks were added, thousands of acres available to buy. One side said 3 acres for $5,000 or 1 acre for $3,000. Do not tell me America has a housing crisis. I don't care which town I drove through. So many houses have been built that anyone can leave California today and find a house to buy, not rent. Example, Kingman, Arizona, home starting at $200,000. So yeah, that's her.
Oh God, not Kingman.
And then she goes on a rant about houses in Santa Barbara. And then the comments section is hilarious, but we don't have to get into it. Her other best article, in my opinion, is about modal filters. Look, here is a
Oh,
picture
boy.
of the modal filter I just showed you guys.
Super hot take incoming.
So
Let's
here's
go,
her
Bonnie.
heart take. It's, where is the groundswell? From the east side to the west side, it's all the same. Insane. The roads are being taken away one by one for bike paths. Who gets to decide which streets are going to take the hit? Alisos, Valeria, Sola, Gutierrez, and at numerous intersections delegated as for bikes only. No matter if the location is on a street used to cross town or to avoid traffic, now vehicles must drive an additional 3 blocks or make a U-turn to continue in the direction they were headed. And for what? A bike path used by how many?
I mean,
Just
did we count,
me.
though? Did we count? Did we actually count? That's what we
No
need to do.
heed
Probably.
to emergency vehicles. And then she says, we figure this is merely an extension of the long-term plan of the city, which allows and encourages people to be stacked into high-density housing with no parking. This destroys Santa Barbara's distinctive character, turning it over bit by bit into a place that is unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Oh, and she says, what about our emergency escape routes being cut off? What is the ulterior motive?
Emergency escape route is called a bicycle. That's what you do in an emergency. You ain't getting anywhere along the highway along the coast in California if there's an actual emergency. Come on.
No. We've seen this before.
And then she calls accessory dwelling units Dr. Frankenstein's accessory dwelling units. And she claims that in San Diego, ADUs have been extended to 148 unit projects that are being called ADUs, which
that's pretty impressive. I got to give those developers credit. You know what? Them stretching that amount of, value out of an ADU development.
If it's true,
really good on their parts. If they're doing that, you know what? More power to them.
Now, what I really want to show you guys are the comments on this article are amazing. The top voted comment. Okay. I'm going to read it to you.
Let's go.
I call them bike Nazis. And all politicians are following them. It's crazy. An aging population. And we want you to drive a bike or walk. Drive a bike. Interesting. They are stealing our roads, our safety, and don't have any accountability. I believe they should all be required to have a license on the bike, so I can ID them, and also insurance when they run me over.
It's just one of those comments.
They really want the police state whenever they see someone on a bicycle.
Whenever they see anything they don't like, generally it seems.
Yeah,
it's
that's
the
true.
Police state. And then the other top voted comment. By the way, this woman, Christy Lozano, ran for the school board a couple years ago. And then another comment is, have you heard of the ULEZ loan in London? We are on our way to a 15-minute city. As soon as I heard they were putting up dwellings with no parking, I knew there was more than an effort to just quiet traffic and reduce emissions. That's why I think they want to stack and pack people out here in Goleta. My gosh.
I agree. We should do that.
And then my favorite comment is
what these often sound like is like if somebody made a ChatGPT Karen, where like you made ChatGPT act like a Karen, and then you're like, make a comment about hating bike lanes or why they're bad, and that's what they would spit out.
I live
it's so predictable.
Then listen to this. In her article, she says, back to who gets to decide where and even why the street closures in our city. Who is given the mandate and for whom? The freedom of movement and ease to traverse the streets of Santa Barbara were so effectively mapped out by our master planner, Captain Salisbury Haley, in 1850. I have bad news for Bonnie Donovan. When Captain Haley laid out the streets in 1850, there were not cars. He did not lay them out for cars. He never thought cars would exist because no one could have predicted such a thing. And in fact, there were both bikes and streetcars on our streets in the 1890s before there were cars on them. So
when was the hobby horse invented? When was the first what do you call that velocipede? 1817.
Wow.
Galvin. So there might have been even a bicycle or some, not a bicycle, but something.
There was something, and it was not a car. And also, Salisbury Haley was drunk the whole time he laid out the streets, which is why some of the intersections are crooked. Fun fact for you there. So yeah.
All right, we need to get to our listener mail here on the show. So the first one here, this one is from Billy Ham, and this is in response to Sully's visit to Providence we talked about last month for the Strong Towns National Gathering. So Billy says, Providence resident here, granite curbs are traditional in the area because the proximity of quarries in the Northeast made it cheaper and easier to get. Granite curbs last forever, weather resistant to freeze-thaw cycles, and can handle rough treatment. For example, road salt and snowplow blades. Fine-grained granite from quarries in Westerly, Rhode Island, was considered the gold standard of granite. Glad you came away with an overall good impression of my city.
I didn't take it for granted.
No, I didn't know that they use granite curbs. That is so cool.
Thank you, Ethan.
Next one we got here. Ethan, you want to read this one?
This one comes to us from Austin, and they said, what would it take to get everyone in the whole world to move to Calgary? I just realized I'm wasting a question on slow mode and will be unable to answer again. Oh well, YOLO, stuck in 2012 culture.
You can join our Patreon and get to the questions chat there. Just for how much is it a month? I can't forget. I can't remember.
United States dollar.
$1.
The dollar.
Oh, we need to do these shows early in the day. My brain starts to fry.
Yeah, it would take the entire world.
The entire world.
The entire world to get to Calgary would be.
There'd need to be a dictator who controlled all of the water, and that's how he got everybody to live in this mecca of water.
No. Here's how we do it.
Okay.
We get the Green Line built.
That's it.
Oh,
that's it, guys. He figured it out.
That's it.
Get
Green Line built, and Alex Williams as city councilor.
I was thinking like extreme global warming.
As mayor.
As mayor, that is true.
Sorry, what'd you say, Sully?
Oh, extreme global warming. Yeah.
Are the summers hot there? I feel like the summers are pretty hot there.
But the winters are.
But the winters, you could live there for the winter and go underground in the summer.
I've never experienced winter, and I don't plan on it. So
it's okay. The Chinooks will just keep blowing. The climate change will just cause the Chinooks to blow like 200 miles an hour, and Calgary will be a wasteland.
It's gonna be summer all year long. Oh no! Honestly,
I read somewhere that if the temperature got hot enough, I think it's more than what we're projected to raise it, but like 10 degrees warmer, there would be a permanent band of like boiling hot mist around the equator, so you wouldn't even be able to like cross it. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
that'd be just like Dune, like straight up. Like I
gotta be honest, guys. I was in Calgary twice last month. Imagine that.
Wow.
No, I can't imagine that.
Just at the airport, though, as usual.
Oh.
First stop.
This guy wasn't at Stampede.
No, I went there a few years ago.
So
and
what the
to
heck
be honest,
is that?
It's basically
a
giant rodeo. It's basically like it's your county fair, but think like 10 times bigger, and then they have a rodeo, and there's like a convention center. It's a whole thing. The best part for me was just being able to take the train there. I thought that was really cool. Just drops you off right beside the Stampede.
That is rare. I'm trying to think. I think, you can take the train to the Ventura County Fair, but that's only because of the terrible land use. Their downtown Ventura station has a 50-acre parking lot next to it.
You can take the Max out to the Washington County Fairgrounds out here.
Okay.
It's kind of that, and like a tiny little county airport right next to it. It's actually where the red line ends.
I smell a video brewing. Transit County Fairs. Yes. Super specific.
Ours is the P&E, the grounds. It's like basically in Burnaby. You can just take the bus there. I'm not sure if there's a close... there's got to be a SkyTrain station nearby. I don't know. No, it's not very close. No.
Wow.
Not yet.
Ventura did better than Vancouver? That's shocking.
You got to take the bus. They have a race course there, but they don't do a rodeo. No, that's a Calgary thing for sure.
I've been to one rodeo, in Vancouver, and I was just shocked that parents were allowing their children to be strapped to bucking sheep.
What?
Which is something I saw. Yeah, and I was like, wow, maybe these are the parents that will let their kids bike to school.
I'm always amazed whenever I see, like, I know a lot of these cities were built on like ranchers and stuff like that. But I'm always amazed to see like downtown Portland still has like a Western wear store in it.
It's called mutton busting. Oh my God! It's an event held
there were
at
kids
rodeos.
that were like 6 years old on sheep.
Oh my
I was,
gosh!
like, shocked.
Children
Wait,
ride
show
a
us a
sheep.
picture. Okay, you got to show us a picture.
Holy
I was like, my Jewish
shnikes.
mom didn't let me outside the house on a 70-degree day without a sweater. So
Oh my gosh!
This is hilarious.
Crazy.
No, this is great.
Welcome to the world of mutton busting.
I like this a lot.
Well, someone's got to share a screen.
There, I got a picture.
There
here.
you
There's
go.
a guy with a Dickie shirt in the background, but it's a kid with a hockey helmet on, holding on to this sheep. Dear life, I imagine. This kid can't be more than like 6 or 7 years old.
No.
Welcome to North America, where we have kids bull riding sheep. And
honestly, there's weird things from
dealing with
around the world, but
firearms.
this one's especially funny. I just love mutton busting sounds. That's got so many connotations I could go with it. Some innuendos.
Well, it's weird that they're calling it by its meat name and not by its alive name.
Yeah, if you called it like beef riding or something like that.
Yeah, like when if you rode a cow, that'd be
meat tenderizing or something like that. I don't know.
Yes, the steak tenderizer.
What is horse meat called? I don't even know. But
what is horse meat called? Just horse meat?
Yeah, it's illegal in America, so I don't know.
This is the
Is
stuff.
it illegal in America?
Yes, it is.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have tried it in Japan once.
There is 100% there are 100% like tribes out here that do eat horse meat though, but I'm guessing that falls under tribal jurisdiction.
Yes.
There's one more question here. Sully, do you want to take that one?
What is it?
It's from Alex Williams.
Where is the question?
I'll read it.
Yes, read me. Oh, I could go to Discord.
It's for me anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have recommendations for urbanist things to visit in Vancouver? How about you guys? Do you have?
Yeah, so if you go out to this little neighborhood just to the south of downtown, you can go visit this guy named Nick Laporte. Really cool guy. You can just go to his address, which is going to be linked down in the chat below.
Come on down.
I have
no, please don't do that.
Granville Island.
That's a great one. Yes, that is a great idea. That's definitely on the list.
I've been there.
Yeah. So, what would I say? Urbanist things to see. The first thing you need to do is just get on a bike because that's probably one of the best ways to get around and see things if you can. If not, SkyTrain, the bus system is very good for a city of its size. Very, very good. Which is just a thing to see in general. The SkyTrain's pretty cool. I think Arden English, who's been on the show before from the Greater Discussions, was at the unveiling of the new Mark V SkyTrain, the 5-car SkyTrain. That it's a new train that they're going to have on the tracks. And if you don't know what the SkyTrain is, it is the automated not tram system. What do you call it, Ethan? What is it called?
Light Metro.
Light Metro system. There you go.
Ooh. It's Metro on a diet.
Yeah, exactly.
Not quite on the light rail diet, but a little bit more beefy than light rail, a little less beefy than heavy rail. It's weird.
So if you get a bike, what you can do here is if you go to Canada Place, that's this area over here, that's where the ships come in, and you get a great view of the North Shore out that way. But there's some cool things to see along here. But if you follow the seawall, you can follow all the way to Stanley Park, and you can go around the entirety of Stanley Park, which is just a fantastic thing to do. You get to see the North Shore. Once you get around the crest, there's Siwash Rock, which is a cool little rock sitting there with a beautiful view out to the west. You follow that down, you get to see the beaches in Vancouver, the West End, and you go to False Creek, and this is where the money is. This is lots of things going on around here. You can bike all the way around. There's Science World, which is a cool place to look at, especially at night. It's beautiful. It lights up. It was there for the expo back in whenever that was, the 80s. You follow around, and this is Granville Island, which we had a recommendation from Sully there. And that's where you can get some great donuts. There's different things to see there. There's restaurants. There's parks. It's just lovely. But one of my favorite things to do or to show people is actually the water taxis and the Aquabus. And they basically you can see these little lines here in False Creek. You can take these little buses essentially on the water across different places. And it's just kind of a fun thing to do. It's a piece of the public transit network technically. And I think it's underappreciated, I would say.
Does it cost as much as taking the bus?
I think to get across one way, it's like $250 or $280 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It depends on how far you go. There's like zones and stuff. But for the price, it's definitely worth it. Highly recommend taking the water taxis. Yeah, they're cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just made a video about Granville Island, so you watch it before you go. Know about what's going on.
Did. Yeah, it was good. And anyway, we won't get into that. How's our time? We're getting there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have anything else to say in the show, guys?
Yeah, take the West Coast Express. If you go to Vancouver, just ride it all day. Don't do anything else. Anyways.
Just back and forth?
Yes. If you can, because I know it's peak service. It's peak service only on weekdays.
Yeah. If you can. And that's the problem. By the way, Art in English has a video about that, the West Coast Express. That is also very good, which I'll link in the description below. But anything else for the show this time, guys?
No, I don't. Not.
Oh, we're good.
I don't want to start a news story. I'll wait. I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger. All of our listeners.
Save it for next time, and we're going to hear it in HD. Sully's going to have a fancy dancy microphone next time. We're going to hear him for the first time. That his voice is actually, he's actually a baritone.
Nat King Cole. That's how I sound.
There will be a mic arm coming my way too. So that way.
Boy. This is going to sound amazing. We're going to be all up in your ears. It's going to be fantastic. So, Ethan, you want to get this whole outro started here?
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I really want to thank our live chat here today, especially Austin and Jack, who were in the live chat here. Is there anybody else that was in the chat here today? It looks like it was just Austin and Jack. If anybody else was in there, we thank you very much. But if you do want to become a viewer in the live chat or get early access to the shows or access to our Discord, you can join our Patreon and help support the show for how much, guys?
$1.
$1 a month. Incredible. Anyways, we really want to thank you for tuning into this show of Radio Free Urbanism. Sully, where can the good people find you?
Sullyville on YouTube and on Instagram and on Blue Sky.
You can find me at Nick the Door on Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube, of course. And Ethan, how about you?
You can find me over on Climate and Transit on any platform that I'm on. Folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Radio Free Urbanism. And as always, train good, car bad.
2 wheels good.
2 feet fantastic.